baseball cards for our new Cannondale.
Hi friends, here's the story how I sold some baseball cards to buy this Cannondale T700 touring bike. It was the summer of 1998. I was living in East Northport, New York on Long Island with my wife and two young children. We were on a tight budget, as you can imagine, with two young kids. And I wanted to buy a new bicycle, so I was going to a lot of bike shops that summer, looking to see what was available at a certain price point. I was looking at Trek, Cannondale, Giant, Specialized, mostly looking for a touring bike. I had big dreams of bike riding around New England, New York, and possibly one day bike riding across America. It now was September of 1998. I found a nice last year model Cannondale CAD 2 700 touring bike in the color root beer for $670. Regular price around $900. I put a small deposit on the bike at the Bicycle Planet in Syosset, New York. They are still in business as I make this video now. It's called Jen's Cycles. So here is where the fun begins. Telling my wife I found a bicycle. Her first question was, how much? She laughed when I told her $670. Well, no money is coming out of the bank for this bicycle. You better put your thinking cap on. So I did. At that time I had two bicycles. One was a Diamondback mountain bike and the other was a Cannondale road bike, RS 400 I think, which I bought used for $325 a few years ago because my first Cannondale was stolen. So I put both on sale, the mountain bike for $225 and the Cannondale for $250. Remember, this was before selling online. I had to do it the old-fashioned way, in the newspaper and a local weekly magazine called Penny Saver. Then my wife said to me she was going to have a yard sale with her mom. So an idea popped in my head. I said to myself, why don't I sell some baseball cards? So I gathered lots of baseball cards and put them on a small table to see what happens. We opened up the yard sale around 8 o'clock in the morning. At around 9:15, a gentleman and his two boys came by. They were looking at all my cards, and then all of a sudden he says to me, how much for all of them? I was surprised. I had some great cards out there. But I'm thinking about the new Cannondale. So I said, how about $1,000? That was like $1 a card, you know? He thought for a minute and said, how about $750? I thought about the new bike that's going to look great riding around my neighborhood. I said, deal. He came back about an hour later with the money, and I was thrilled. My wife, not so much. I made $750 in under 2 hours. Her mom and her only made a couple $100 yard selling all day. And a couple days later, I sold both bicycles. It happened so quickly. $750 for the baseball, the Diamondback for $225, and the Cannondale for $250, for a total of $1,225, $1,200. That paid for the new bicycle, and the extra money my wife kept. That's all right. It paid for a vacation later on for the family. Now, 27 years later, I still have the bicycle. My first fun bike ride was the 1999 5-borough bike ride in New York City with my friend Scott. This is a bike ride that goes through all 5 boroughs in New York City. It's supposedly one of the largest events in the USA today, 25,000 riders or more. The bike ride starts in the south part of Manhattan, works its way all the way up to the Bronx, then over to the Queens, down to Brooklyn, and then you finish up bike riding over the Verrazano Bridge and finishing up in Staten Island. And then you're saying, how do you get back to Manhattan? Well, they provided a shuttle from Staten Island to Manhattan. It was a cool bike ride. I would do it again, but there are a lot of riders. Next was the 3-day cycling event from downtown Boston to Manhattan, New York. Camping along the way, finishing at Penn Station, also known as Madison Square Garden, in the year 2000. I also did this with my friend Scott. I've been bike riding for over 50 years. I have lots of great stories. If this was interesting, please like and leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm thinking of making another video on how a summer challenge of no car turned into 6 years of no car and the love of cycling for the rest of my life. So if you're interested, don't forget to like and subscribe. Pedal on, Billy Bikes.
So many great memories with the Cannondale. The 5-borough bike ride with my friend Scott, where I go through the 5 boroughs of Manhattan. Oh, that was so much fun. Here I'm being goofy on the Verrazano Bridge. Next up, Boston to Manhattan. Here's a few celebratory pictures at the end at Madison Square Garden with my friend Scott and my son Connor. Then we got a picture of my son and I in front of the Empire State Building. How cool is that? 24 hours of booty for the 6th time in Charlotte, North Carolina. C&O Canal with my friend Michael for the first time in 2014. Assault on Merrill Mountain near Albemarle, North Carolina. RAGBRAI 2017 in Iowa with my good friend Michael. What a blast! A moving festival from town to town. No better feeling after a full week of riding than dipping your front tire in the Mississippi River and having a cold beer. My friend Michael and I had so much fun in 2017, we decided to do RAGBRAI in 2018. The fun never stops. The High Bridge Trail in Farmville, Virginia. I look forward to going back. I had so much fun. Michael and I are always looking for the next adventure. Here we're hopping on a train from Pittsburgh to Harper's Ferry to bike ride the C&O Canal to the Great Allegheny Passage all the way back to Pittsburgh. We camped every night, and one of the highlights of the whole trip was the Paw Paw Tunnel. When you leave the C&O Canal, you're on the Great Allegheny Passage to Crushed Stone. What a beautiful trail. When you bike ride over the Hot Metal Bridge, you can see downtown Pittsburgh, and you know you're getting close. Point State Park, final destination. Still can't believe I've had this bike over 25 years, all because I sold some baseball cards. Thanks for following along. What a deal. Hit like and subscribe. Help Billy Bikes grow this channel. Pedal on, Billy Bikes.